Everybody, it's Dr. Eric Wellcavage. We're back for another edition of Thyroid Thursday, and today we're talking about this free T3 to free T4 ratio. A lot of confusion on this. It's kind of complex, but I want to kind of take 3 patients from files and kind of go over what their general labs look like, and then what the ratio looks like, and how that might influence somebody like me to let the patient know, hey, I think you maybe need more, you need less, or you need to add some other type of some support, okay? So all 3 of these patients are on the same amount of T4 medication. I'll do another video with T3 medication added in, but all 3 of these patients were taking 112 micrograms of T4. They all have continual hypothyroid signs and symptoms, insulin resistance, elevated lipids, lower GFR, and they had the symptoms, tiredness, fatigue, weight gain, or resistance to weight loss. All 3 of these patients were told by their allopathic prescribing doctor that their labs looked fantastic. They don't have a thyroid issue anymore. They're in biochemical euthyroidism, euthyroidism. So meaning that they've given them enough T4 to normalize their thyroid physiology. Did they normalize the thyroid physiology? No. Did they normalize TSH and maybe getting enough thyroid hormone to the hypothalamus and the pituitary and the brain? Yes. These are all people that are frustrated. They've reached out to different clinicians. They wound up seeing me. All 3 of them had talked to integrative or functional practitioners that recommended adding T3, but they all chose to come talk to me. And we're taking a look at these values and making a decision, do these people need T3? Now, I don't think in general the vast majority of people should be taking T3 early on if you're trying to address the root cause issues. Remember, about 5 to 10 micrograms of T3 is made by the thyroid gland on a regular basis. The other 20 to 25 micrograms is made by the peripheral tissues, bringing T4 in, converting it to T3, using it, and then pushing that T3 back out into the circulation, and that becomes the circulating level of total T3 and free T3. So if there's a lower T3 total or free, the likely area where the problem is in the peripheral cells. Now, the question becomes, is that lower T3 or free T3 the result of broken physiology? The body forgot how to do it, or you have a deiodinase 2 polymorphism that prevents you from doing it or doing it efficiently? Or is it an adaptive change to excessive cell stress, inflammation, danger signals, infections? I think the latter is the most likely scenario for the vast majority of people, okay? So what do? Let's take a look at these 3 clients. So patient A, their TSH is 0.82, their free T4 is 1.7, their free T3 is 2.8, but their conversion of free T3 to free T4 to free T3 to free T4, meaning how well they convert T4 to T3, stinks. So their doctor says they feel great. They feel hypothyroid. What's my suggestion? My suggestion in this person would actually be, and my recommendation was to go back to their doctor who prescribed the medication and ask them to reduce the dose of T4 medication, so that way we can see an improved conversion of free T3 to free T4, or free T4 to free T3, and that ratio improves. Why would I say that? Well, their TSH is a bit lower than it should be, but their free T4 is high. It's almost lab high in circulation. And what happens is if you have more T4 in circulation than the cells and tissues need, then what happens is the enzyme inside cells called deiodinase 2 that converts T4 to T3 gets deactivated. And when it gets deactivated, that results in a reduced conversion of T4 to T3. So this person is going back to their primary care physician or their prescribing doctor, and we're going to ask this person to have their medication reduced. Now, it sounds contradictory, right? Why would we want to reduce it? Their free T3 is 2.8. Why would we want to reduce the amount of T4? Don't I need higher amounts of T4 so I can get higher amounts of T3? It actually works the opposite. If you put more T4 in the system than you need, you actually get reduced conversion. But you might say, hey doc, but this is the free T3 level that looks the best. It does look the best, but when you look at the ratio of these numbers, it's the worst conversion. So this is a person who needs to reduce their thyroid medication dose temporarily, or needs to get that dose reduced. Patient 2, TSH is 1.5, free T4 is 1.21, free T3 is 2.6. Again, their medical doctor said, hey, this looks great, but the patient's symptomatic. They look at their free T3, it's 2.6. Now remember, their medical doctor didn't run the free T3. I ran the free T3, and how does that look? Well, it looks functionally low. We like to see that free T3, depending on who you are and how you prescribe. Some people think free T3 levels should be above 4. I think if we have to take everything in context, but I usually say if that number, given the situation, if that number is in between 3 and 4 and my patient feels great, that's probably the right place for that number to be. But it's a bit low at 2.6. But if we look at the ratio of free T3 to free T4, it's at 0.26, meaning there's a reduced conversion. Even though these numbers look better, the free T4 is a little bit lower, free T3 is a little bit lower, they're actually doing a better job than patient 1 in converting T4 to T3. So what do I think is going on here? What I think is going on here is this is a person who's got that excessive cell stress, cell danger physiology going on. And so their doctor has provided enough T4 to bring TSH into the reference range. But because there is some cell stress inflammatory process going on, they're not doing a great job of converting T4 to T3. So what I would do initially with this person is, I'm probably going to be harder to get this doctor's clinician or this patient's doctor to reduce the dose. We're gonna get busy addressing diet and lifestyle factors, looking for what's triggering that excessive cell stress, and keep monitoring this number. So that way, in about 30 days, 60 days, if we see the TSH start to drop, free T4 start to rise, and free T3 actually start to go down, then we know this is a person we've got to get the dose reduced, okay? Now, patient 3, TSH 3.42, free T4 1.0, free T3 is 2.7. This one looks maybe the worst of all of them, right? If you just look at that. Their doctor thought that this is a person who might need more thyroid hormone because their TSH was creeping up. He thought they were look pretty good, but if anything, he wanted to give them more T4 medication. If you look at their free T3, it is 2.7. So there's still, if we look at the free T3 is not optimal, free T4 is a little bit low, free T3 is 3.42, but their conversion is 0.32. So of the T4 that is available, it is converting pretty efficiently into T3. This is a person who may just not have enough thyroid hormone in the system on a regular basis. And so should we give them more T4? No. What I would probably recommend is they're doing a pretty good job converting. I would recommend they keep the TSH higher in that range, watch and wait another 30, 60 days and see if that TSH staying higher drives more thyroid hormone production naturally. For patients, a lot of people say, hey, I want my thyroid gland to recover and I want to be on less medication. Well, if you want your thyroid gland to recover, one of the things you need to do is be able to stimulate the thyroid gland. If TSH is suppressed, like 0.82, you're not going to get as much stimulation of the gland to make thyroid hormone. So you're going to be dependent on the thyroid hormone. So if we want to start stimulating the thyroid gland to actually do its job, we need that TSH to be a little bit higher. So that way we're getting the drive of the thyroid gland to produce more T4 and a little bit more T3. So this is one where I keep working on the diet and lifestyle factors, looking at any stressors that may be contributing or have contributed to thyroiditis or downregulation of thyroid physiology, recheck this person in about 30 to 60 days and see if on that same dose, TSH is starting to drop, T4 is starting to rise, and then take a look at that free T3. Is it starting to rise? If that ratio starts to drop to under 3.2, then that's when I would, especially if TSH is dropping and free T4 is going up, that's why I recommend they go back to their prescribing doctor and ask for a drop in their medication, okay? So if you have any questions, I know this is a bit complex, put them below wherever you watch the video, and stay tuned for more on this series, okay?